He is your YouTube pop culture tour guide, filmmaker, and future draft pick of the Toronto Maple Leafs. His name is Scott on Tape. Scott, what up, dude? Welcome to the podcast. Thanks for coming on the show, man.
What's up, Cliff? The NHL draft is yesterday, and again, they didn't draft me. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, what's going on with that, man?
I don't know. I guess I'm getting a little too long in the tooth for them. I don't know.
Scott, where you at?
I'm in Toronto.
You're in Toronto, and that's the thing, man. That's the thing with you Canadians. You guys are into some ice hockey, man.
Oh, you're indoctrinated at a very, very young age, and especially whatever city you're from is like stamped on your soul to be a fan of that team. I mean, we've got the Raptors here now. We've always had the Blue Jays for a while since late 70s, but Raptors are hugely popular. But Toronto Maple Leafs is everything in Toronto. And, I mean, hockey is huge in Canada. Yeah. It's not technically our national sport, but it is.
How often do you get to the games?
I go to about 1 or 2 a year.
Okay. So not a lot.
That's not bad. I used to go to more when my father was alive, when he had season tickets. So he spread them out with my family. So I went to about 6 a year, roughly. And then you're a teenager, late 20s, going with friends. It was expensive. And now they're really expensive.
Sure. Scott, what's the national sport of Canada?
Lacrosse.
Really?
Yeah.
Wild.
But it's kind of like if you say like, what's the national, like what is America's national sport? And the national pastime is baseball. What's their national sport? It's probably gonna be something weird like badminton.
Right.
It's just like something that was chosen 150 years ago. Sure. I don't know why lacrosse, but hockey is our national sport.
Yeah.
Everybody loves hockey.
Did you grow up playing?
Yep.
Did you? Nice. Yep.
I played till I was 18, and then I coached for 3 years, but I got 2 concussions, cracked ribs. I almost broke my lower back, and that was only in 2 different injuries.
Wow.
Like 2 different times when all that happened. So I had to stop playing, and even coaching, it was getting a little hard to do.
Jeez.
But
how old are you when you had the injuries?
19 and 21.
Wow. Man, that's crazy. Yeah. Are you fully recovered from that? That's pretty serious.
No, the concussions, I think I'm still suffering from those, blackouts in terms of what, getting tired and stuff, but my back is really messed up because of it.
Jeez.
So I get, it's hard to walk like for a long time, like it only acts up occasionally, but like getting in and out of bed, putting socks on, that never, since I was 21, that always hurt. But of course, as you get older, that just sucks anyways.
Yeah. No, I hear you, man.
Yeah.
How's never been to Toronto? How's Toronto? What's Toronto like?
It's great. I love it. It's home. I grew up here. I'm in North Toronto right now. So it's a suburb, and this is actually the house that I grew up in. So I own the house now. Okay. So it's cool being back. There's the whole city of Toronto. It's huge. I mean, people don't realize it's the 4th largest city in North America. It's huge. And I've got this, and I'm in North Toronto, tucked away on a quiet little street. And, this neighbor's car was broken into a couple of days ago. But other than that, you can hear a pin drop from 9 o'clock at night till 7 in the morning. So it's very, very low key. Downtown's amazing. We've got everything here.
Yeah.
And the past 2-3 years, as I've tried to be home in the summer more, because I love summer in Toronto, I've been going back downtown where I used to live, where I used to party and hang out and work, and just I'm like, every day I'm like a tourist. I'm like, this is great.
That's awesome.
Wow, people are out during the day. Like, what's going on?
That's cool.
Like I'm in a little bubble.
Yeah.
Where I live. Like I just live in my area where I grew up and just do my thing. And then if I leave it, I'm like, hey, this is a city.
Yeah. That's really cool.
Crazy.
How far are you from downtown?
15, 20 minutes if there's no traffic. If there's traffic, half an hour.
Okay, gotcha.
Not even 25. It depends. I mean, because of where I'm right at the intersection of the 2 biggest highways in Canada.
Okay.
Right? And the biggest highway for sure in Canada, and the other one, which is expressway, is still a highway. I'm right where my house is, 2 minutes to one of those, and then you're downtown.
Very cool, man.
So
yep.
If I lived 10 minutes west, 10 minutes east, it'd be a whole different story with traffic.
Sure.
But
sure.
Yeah. You're in Charlotte, right?
Charlotte, North Carolina. Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been there many times. I have to go back very soon
Yeah.
because I messed up a video and there's one shot I need in Charlotte. It's actually outside of Charlotte, about an hour outside. But there's something about Charlotte traffic that stresses me out because Toronto and LA, where I am the most, have the worst traffic in the world, and Atlanta.
Yeah.
But Charlotte, there's something about when you're going into Charlotte from wherever you are, it just seems like there's only four ways in, I
Right.
guess, kind of. I don't know, and I'm just like, why is there so much traffic all the time?
Yeah, it's crazy, man. It's a city that's growing like a weed, man, and I
Right.
mean, just the population is exploding here, so that's what you're seeing. Yeah, lots of
I
traffic
have a
for
lot
sure.
of fun there.
Yeah,
I love Charlotte. It's one of my favorite cities to go to.
yeah, it's a good city, man, for sure. So Scott, before we get any further, we'll talk about Charlotte a little bit more in just a
Mhm.
bit. But 208,000 YouTube subscribers. Scott, for the people watching, for the people listening, describe what your channel is to everybody and what you do.
Well, it's a little bit of everything in terms of pop culture. I'm always been into anything to do with music, movies, television, celebrities, and true crime, the dark side of Hollywood. So I visit strange and odd locations all across America and Canada, and things that interest me. Mostly to do like 99% to do with pop culture. Occasionally, I'll do something that's not, and I do a lot of true crime. I've been doing that on my channel for a while, and usually the true crime has to have crossed over into pop culture somewhat, like Dom or Bundy, but I'll do smaller cases if they've made like local headlines or maybe Law and Order did an episode based on. I'll go to the real locations where these things happen. Same with I'll go to music studios where bands recorded some of your favorite albums. I'll go to clubs like the Viper Room and Whiskey A Go Go on the Sunset Strip, give you an inside tour that you're not going to see anywhere else, and just stuff like that inside in filmy locations where some of your favorite movies, horror movies, comedies, where they were made, anything to do with that. Celebrities have been on my channel, stuff like that.
Yeah, super cool, man. Yeah, it's great stuff. So how
Oh,
did
and
yeah
and famous graves, of course. That's a big thing on my channel because that's I've always where I grew up, downtown Toronto. It's funny is um my mother passed away 3 years ago, but before she passed away, I did a video at this cemetery downtown, and she said, oh, when she watched it, I was here, and she said, oh, you must have been flashbacks for you. And I said, what are you talking about? It's where George Romero's buried, the director.
oh, yeah
And I said, what are you talking about? She goes, you used to play in that cemetery when you were little. You don't remember? I'm like, no. She goes, that's where I used to take you through walks. You used to play behind the headstones. I was like, oh, thanks for telling me now. That explains it. So I go to a lot of famous graves of celebrities too, talk about them. Yeah.
yeah definitely. So how did it all come to be, man? How did your channel come to be, and how'd you get the idea?
Well, I was always I wanted to be an actor since I was little. The first thing, I wanted to be a hockey player or an actor, but I was never a good enough hockey player, that's for sure. I was a skinny, scrawny, tiny kid, so I good at road hockey, like making plays, but ice hockey, I was like tried to be a tough kid because I couldn't score like the way the other kids could. I could, but not like that. So anyway, so I realized, well, hockey's out. I want to be an actor. So I was writing plays and doing all this stuff. I took acting in university and filmmaking. And then I was auditioning here in Toronto for a long time for things. And then I just my parents both got sick at the same time. And so I just kind of gave up on it. And then about 7 years ago, I started watching. I thought YouTube literally only had music videos and clips from The Office. That's all I thought it was. I did not know people had channels. I didn't know there was original content. I didn't know. I
Yeah.
really I literally only would click on like, YouTube, Eminem, stuff I wanted to see and watch clips from The Office. And then I made a video and I was always going to strange places since I was a kid. I dragged my parents to strange places, girlfriends, friends, to weird stuff like JFK Jr.'s apartment building, the hotel in Atlanta where Rob Lowe had his sex scandal, like weird place, cemeteries. Like it's all on my Instagram, like all this stuff I used to do. And I filmed a video with my friend in Florida. He said, "You want to go see?" Because I love alligators. He said, "You want to go see some alligators?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "I want to see them in the wild, though. I don't want to go to a zoo." I want to see them in the wild. So he's a Florida kid. He took me into the swamps and he's smacking the water. He goes, "We'll get some alligators." And there's an alligator came up and I was filming it. I was like, I gotta put that on YouTube because I knew, I guess at that point I figured out people were putting weird stuff on YouTube. So I held on to it for about 6 or 7 months, and then I found a couple of channels of other like YouTube content creators. I was like, hey, they're doing like filming locations. I've got videos of me doing that 10 years ago. I had other things. I was like, wait a minute. And I kind of all just came together. And I put up that Florida video just as a test video. I wasn't even called Scott on Tape. And like 20 people watched it. Something, you get one comment from somebody in like Mexico or somebody in Seattle. Hey, cool seeing alligators. Like whatever the hell they said.
Yeah.
And it's like, wow, somebody else, somebody not related to me or knows me, watched this. Then I flew to LA. Boom. And started making all these videos.
Wild, man.
It just hit me all of a sudden. I was like, everything I've been doing for the past 30 years since I was little, people are getting paid to do it and doing it on YouTube. And I've never been shy.
Yeah. So did your channel start around 2000, what year? 15, 14?
2017.
2017. Okay. Gotcha. So when you're thinking about doing this, are you sitting around thinking about how you're going to make this happen and the expense that's involved? And is it kind of going through your head like, man, I'm not able to do this. This is just, the logistics of this is going to be tough. Did any of that cross your mind at all before you started?
Well, what crossed my mind was when I got back from Los Angeles the first trip. That wasn't my first time going to Los Angeles. I'd been there a few times before, but that was my first time with, I came back with like 20 videos. I uploaded them all. They're all terrible, I'm sure. I wouldn't even want to watch them now. But when they were done, I was like, oh, S word. I got now. What do I do now? Like, because I had 200-300 subscribers. I was like, oh shoot, now I got to go back out. I got to go I got to go to New York. I got to go to Chicago. I didn't realize that. Not the sharpest tool. I was like, oh man. So I said, okay, I got to go back and do it again. Luckily, where I was working, I told the owners, I said, look, I think I've discovered what I want to do with the rest of my life. I said, treat it like I'm going back to school and this is my education. And they were very sweet. They're very, very sweet. They helped me out a lot. They said, take whatever you need, because I've been with them for a long time. Follow your dreams. My mom, who was sick, we'd lost my father before that. She said, so finally, do it, do this, follow what you want to do. And it's funny because it's not, I never had any doubts that the channel would do well. And that's not in an arrogant way. I just expected it to do well in terms of, because I thought, well, what I like is what people like. What I like is what I'm like, what I want to see. This pretty popular stuff. I'm not doing underground, no name people or whatever. I'm like thinking, but I didn't expect, I thought, okay, one day I'll get a whole bunch of subscribers. I didn't expect to do it full time. I didn't expect to have these many subscribers. I just expected to be successful at it because I knew that I had a good idea of what I could do. And then I guess halfway through, I was like, oh, okay, I can actually do this full time, and I can actually work on building subscribers, because I was just wanting people to watch what I was doing.
Yeah.
So I just knew that if I made certain videos, I was like, people are going to watch this because I like this.
Yeah.
And I just thought, yeah.
So did you go into it? I'm just really curious about the business side of it, man. So did you go into it thinking of this as a hobby, or did you create a business plan? Did you have a budget for all this? Because I'm trying to make it work in my head, man. How does the money aspect of it work? You're flying somewhere, you're flying back, you're staying in hotels, you're getting rental cars, you got to pay for food. So how are you making all that happen financially?
Well, I was working, like I said, I was working another job, and then I had one video hit big, my Michael Jackson grave video. It just went through the roof in my first or second year, and that can propel you. That, like, I was in Florida with that same guy and his girlfriend. We were all in a hotel room before we went out to dinner, and my phone started going ding, 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 ding. And I was like, whoa, what's happening? And I looked, and people were just subscribing to my channel. Like, it went from like 500 subscribers to like 2,000 in like an hour. And I was like, whoa. And I saw the views for the Michael Jackson video. I was like, holy shit. I was like, oh, this is what it's like. Okay. And then, of course, a year later, I'm still stuck at like 3,000. So I was really wrong. But I just was like, okay, I'm making money still at where I worked.
Yeah.
So I just kept taking time. I'd work 2 months, 3 months, say, okay, I'm going away again for a month. everything that I saved. I kept putting, I sacrificed that. I didn't go out. I stopped going out to restaurants. I sacrificed in terms of that. Like I just stopped having a social life in Toronto, basically. I'd go out for do a lit something, like maybe go see a movie. Maybe. I don't even remember. Probably not.
Yeah.
I would come home, edit, go to work. That's all I cared about. And then save, save, save. And then started making a little bit of money on YouTube, and then it kind of caught up to what I was making at my business where I was working full time, and then it went past it, and I was like, wait a minute, okay, maybe now I can cut out doing my day job, do this full time, and I had no business plan, I had no budget. All I knew was all my only my like literally my only rules on the road I had because I'm very good at saving, as I just said. Like I was, save. So my only thing was I stayed at the cheapest hotels. I didn't if I ate a little bit of fast food, but I'd get stuff. A room had to have a microwave so I could heat up, little box dinners on the road. I my only rule was I wouldn't stay in a motel that had hardwood or tiled floors because those are never good. Like it had to be carpeted. Like it had to be at least $70 a night or $60 a night. You know what I mean? Like there's some down south where you walk in and it's just like, man, you don't want to feel that on your feet. Because I did that once and it was just like, I can't. That was and I really had no budget each time, except I was just like, well, I can't spend that. I'm not going there because that's going to cost too much. And now, thankfully, that I'm making better money on YouTube and able to go different places and shorter times if I want to. I'm just, I'm good at saving, but the business side of it, I'm like, as you can see, like getting a hold of me, you know, I'm a little scattered when it comes to things like that. This part of the thing, because I'm one person,
Yeah.
doing, so I have to do the business side, I have to do the social side, but then the main thing, which is creating the videos, that takes 16 hours a day. And then following up with the socials and then going through you know, the receipts from here, that this receipt goes into the business, this receipt is my personal.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a lot.
I don't enjoy
A lot to keep up with. Scott, I want to circle back around to that in just a minute, but just actually got a text from Ryan from Nerd Locations.
Oh yes,
Ironically enough, who's a buddy of yours, and
Mhm.
he wants to know: do you prefer to stay? This is his question. Do you prefer to stay at the Roosevelt, or do you enjoy visiting Back to the Future locations better? There it is.
First of all, are we live right now somewhere? No, this is recorded for somewhere else, right?
This is recorded. Yeah, we're not live.
Yeah, so he just happened to text you. That's funny.
Yep.
I would rather stay at. I would. I would rather stay at the Roosevelt.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, he's making fun of me because everybody like in the filming locations community loves Back to the Future and does the location. I've been to all the locations and gotten some exclusive stuff, but I don't like the movie. And halfway through doing the locations, I said, "Can I please stop?" Like I said it out loud to my friend. I was like, "I don't care about this movie. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to ever do Back to the Future locations. And everywhere you go in LA and Hollywood, there's something to do with Back to the Future." So a lot of people make fun of me now because it's come out that I'm a closet non-Back to the Future fan, which everybody loves. But I like it, but I don't love it the way. So, and also the Roosevelt, he's making fun because I love the Roosevelt, but I don't like staying in the tower part because it just takes hours to get outside. And if I need to get outside of my hotel, I'm like, my routes from YouTube are driving up to the door of your hotel room or motel room, open the door, open the door in the morning, your car is right there. Roosevelt, give your car to the valet. They park it, in the underground parking. None of that. My roots are humble, and I don't like staying in anywhere. Nice is nice, but there's only
I feel you. Yeah, I feel you. Scott, how can you be a pop culture guy and not like Back to the Future? How?
Okay, I'll tell you. I was thinking about just the other day because I get a text about it now all the time from people. I was when it came out. I forgot most of it. The same summer Teen Wolf came out. Now, I loved Teen Wolf. I really loved it. And I love, love, love Michael J. Fox. He's one of my favorite actors of all time. I got to meet him. He's phenomenal. I just remember I was so into Star Wars, right? So not only was I like Teen Wolf more, but I was so into Star Wars, but I'm not into like sci-fi and all that stuff. I'm not really a sci-fi guy.
Yep.
And then Back to the Future 2 came out, and I just remember watching. I was like, "What the hell is going on in this movie?" And I was fascinated with the fact they made the 2 and 3 back to back, and then they were in the Wild West in the third. And I was like, "Oh God, like what is happening?" I didn't. I wasn't. I probably had a girlfriend with me at the time. We were 13, 14. I don't know how old we were. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I was paying more attention so I wasn't paying attention to the plot. So from this day on, I've always said I don't understand those movies.
Yeah.
But as a pop culture guy, I do respect it. But I don't think there's better movies.
Oh,
I
for
think
sure. Yeah.
better 80s movies. I mean, 16 Candles, Less Than Zero, Pretty in Pink, Ferris Bueller. Give me John Hughes over
Yeah.
Robert Zemeckis any day.
Yeah. Still an 80s classic though. Back to the Future.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And I think I got to watch it again. I think I got to give it another chance because I remember as a kid having the soundtrack and me and my friend pretending to be Marty McFly. So I remember like watching it and also like like I said, the soundtrack, especially Johnny B. Good. We would have his dad's guitars playing along, pretending we're Marty McFly. So I guess I did like it.
Sure.
But I just see it all the time now on Instagram. People are like, "Oh, here I am at this way." I'm like, "Ah, oh, God." Yeah, I know.
It's a bit played out.
Yeah, played out.
Yeah, it's played
there
out.
It is.
Yeah, for sure.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
That's perfect. Actually, that's what I'm going to say now. It's played out.
It's played out. There you go, man. Right? Helped you out there, Scott. Circle back around to what we were talking about before. No budget, no business plan. How are you coming up with the locations that you chose to go to at that time?
Most of them are. I mean, I'll never really run out in terms of if I mean, if you think of the world, there's so many countries I've ever been to, but even America and Canada, there's so many things. I'll never run out because I grew up immersed in pop culture, like immersed. Like I was a kid that I I loved TV and I loved music and movies. And if I wasn't outside playing road hockey or riding my BMX with my friends, I was watching or reading about pop culture. I've got a whole bookshelf in the other room, all just from my books from as a kid. So I
guess I meant back in the day, like when you were deciding where you were going to go and what you were going to shoot, what you were going to cover. Was it just kind of randomly off the top of your head that you decided, oh, I'm going to go to LA and shoot this?
I think when I went to LA the first time, I had like I knew I had I wanted to see the dinosaurs from Pee-wee's Big Adventure. You know, I wanted to see the Forum in Inglewood, like the famous circular building where the Kings played. And then there's a bunch of and Grease locations and Karate Kid, stuff like that. So I really loved movie locations back then, still do. So I did a lot of that. And then maybe a couple of graves, but then the Michael Jackson one took off. And I was like, well, if people love watching that, I mean, I like going to cemeteries and talking about people that I, liked when they were alive. So I just kind of started doing that too. But no, I just always come up with, I've already started my list for next time I'm in LA, and there's more. I mean, I just filmed 42 videos in the last 38 days, I think it was that I was there. So I've got tons more coming. And then I missed a bunch while I was there. I was like, oh, I'll just, when I come back, I'll do more.
Yeah.
Because I think of things I like, and I get suggestions a lot, but I have to have some sort of connection to the artist or the movie or something. Like I have to have either watched it or loved it or listened to them or maybe met them at somewhere when I was a kid or maybe my parents liked them. So I have a story. There has to be, otherwise I'm personally not invested in the video. Like I've done a few where I don't know who I'm talking about, and I think it comes across. And so that's like sometimes I get suggestions from viewers. I'm just like, yeah, but I don't know who that is. Like I'm sure they're popular, maybe.
Yeah.
But I don't know who that is. And if I don't know who they are, if it's a true crime, I'll look into it. But if it's a celebrity, I'm like, if I don't know who they are, probably my audience isn't gonna know who they are, right? Like,
sure.
I'm surprised sometimes. Like, and then I sort of go because I also am such a hip hop fan, I'm a music fan, but also such a hip hop fan. Detroit's only 4 hours away from Toronto, so I started going to Detroit a lot too and doing a lot of videos about Eminem and where he started and studios and music video locations, and that took my channel on a different trajectory as well. Like I got a lot of subscribers through that. So that was another thing. I was like, well, and then some of my viewers like, oh, Eminem, like what? Like I thought you were a Michael Jackson fan, or I thought you just did Graves. It's like, no,
Yeah.
like, there's going to be I guess there's like 75 videos at least on my channel about Eminem and Detroit hip hop in general. And I did one video about his best friend Proof, who was in the band D12 with him, Proof, who was murdered in Detroit in a very rough area off of 8 Mile. And that was the first, like I'd been to 8 Mile many times before. I'd been with friends, but this is the first time I'd gone by myself, gone to this particular spot on 8 Mile where Proof was killed, and got out of the car, filmed it, and I was told you can't get out of your car there, you can't film there, and it's impossible. You got to be careful. And I was like, well, I got to do it if I want to get this video, and I did it. And now I've been to that area a million times. I've been to Detroit, a million times, and you don't believe everything you read, type of thing. So that helped me. That one video really, really helped me, because then I went to his grave, which is near downtown Detroit, Ferndale, filmed his grave as well. But then I realized, you know what? I can get to some places that people only read about, but maybe they're afraid to go, or they live in a different country. So
Yeah.
I've been, going to some strange places for sure.
Detroit's a rough city, man. I went to a wedding
Yeah.
there a few years back. That is a wow, man. I was shocked at what I saw. That's a crazy, man. It's nuts over there, man. Right?
It is. It
Yeah.
is. I mean, downtown and Corktown's obviously really beautiful. They've fixed it up a
Yeah.
lot. And then you leave downtown and there's some pretty. I mean, the
Yeah.
buildings are blown out. There's crumbled old structures. I mean,
It's like one building after the other, man. That's like that.
oh,
Like
yeah,
on our way to the
yeah.
wedding from the hotel, we were staying in downtown Detroit. So on the way to the wedding, which was like, I don't know, 5-10 miles away from downtown. Oh my God, man. Like every single building was like burnt down and just like crumbles and yeah, crazy. Crazy.
They're tearing those all down. I mean, thankfully they are bringing them all down. Detroit's trying to get back on the rebound. I mean, with everything that happened in that city, it's amazing that people still live there. Like I
Yeah.
talk highly of Detroit. I tell people, look, if you're a fan of hip hop or Eminem, or if you want to see, some cool, they've got some cool stuff for families to do. And then if you also want to see urban decay and interesting, it's like little art. There's so many artists that live there. Like it's really got a cool vibe.
Yeah.
And again, I'll drive around at night in Detroit, and I know where not to stop.
Sure.
But that's in every city, really. It
Yeah.
really is.
Okay, for
There's
sure.
spots in every, there's spots in every. Detroit just looks rougher because of what it's gone through.
Yeah.
But slowly, there's one building I'm sure you've seen. It's right near the Greek Casino downtown. I'm sure that's the one you're talking about. It's really big, and it's after 7 years of going there in a row. I'm just like,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
this is the one you're leaving up. Like,
I know,
it's
man. It's
time to
crazy.
go.
Yeah. It's time to
Yeah.
go. Yeah. Tear this thing
Yeah,
down.
time to go.
Yep.
And then another one, I went and walked through a couple of abandoned buildings in Detroit, and I was just like, during the day, and afterwards, I was like, that probably wasn't the best idea. I made a cool video. And then another video I did about Eminem's, one of his homes. Some people came out and asked me what I was doing. And they said, you want to go into this building? A guy was murdered here last week. I'm like, yeah, let's do it. So we went into this abandoned building, and it was just crazy. And they're leading me around. I'm just like, what did I just agree to? Like, where am I walking? Like, I could be being led to my death right now.
Yeah. Right.
But sweetest people, everybody there, it's such culturally diverse. There's so many different types of people. And I did there's a movie called Don't Breathe, a horror movie,
Okay.
and they filmed it in Detroit, and the house is on quote unquote the most dangerous street in Detroit. So I was like, well, I got to go there.
Yeah.
I got to film that house. And I drove down the street, and I got out and I was making the video. And then as I got back in my car, I was driving down. I was like, this is not so bad. There's a group of dudes with two couches in the middle of the street.
Yep.
They moved the couches out of their house onto the street to sit and talk.
Yeah.
And I was like, huh. Well, this is gonna be hard to, because it's a one-way street. I was
Yeah.
like, well, this is interesting. So I just stopped kind of a few yards in front of them. They picked up the couches, moved them off to the side.
And you just drove right through.
I'm like, this is not,
Yeah.
it's a neighborhood
That's
where
awesome.
people live.
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
it was really funny. It was really fun. I just gave them,
Yeah. That's great, man. I know that you're a huge Eminem fan, Scott. Um, hang with Eminem for a full day or the Leafs winning the cup. Which one do you
Leafs
choose?
winning the cup.
Oh
Leafs
yeah,
winning the cup.
is that right? Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I have to do that for for Toronto because we've been long suffering. I have to bite the bullet, instead and give up Eminem. That's a terrible question to ask me, but I have to say it would have to be the Leafs winning the cup just so I could for my friend. I've got so many like some of my closest friends. We're all long suffering Leafs fans. My uncle. God, before they go, I wish they could have won a cup before my dad. My dad actually would have seen them win in '67, but I was waiting before I was born, so I I'd have to do it. But you know, Eminem hanging with Eminem for a day would be pretty awesome. I don't know which one is more unlikely.
Maybe this would be an easier question for you. Okay, here we go.
Mhm.
Hang with Eminem for a day or hang with George Michael for a day.
Well,
Mm.
I've met George Michael.
I saw that video,
Well,
by the way,
yeah, I
with the
met George
picture.
Michael.
Yep, yep, yep,
Thank you. Yeah, I
yep.
met George Michael when I was a kid, teenager. I mean, that was incredible.
Yeah, I know you're a huge fan as well of George
Oh yeah,
Michael. Yeah.
George. Yeah, George. That's he's gonna be one of my next tattoos. His logo. Um, God, I can't answer that.
Tough, huh?
They're both, I mean, you know, I
Have you ever met Eminem?
no.
Ever seen him in public?
I've seen him in live. I've seen him in concert.
Okay.
So I've been to two. I've been to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction ceremony. I saw him in Boston. Now I have seen I because I do have some videos coming about Detroit that I haven't put up yet where I was near his studio again. Like I know where his studio is. I know where everything he owns is. It's just a sickness. But he was there one day just in September when I was there. He was at the studio that day. The security guard gave me the heads up. But there's like I'm not, I was like, well, what am I going to do? How long as a grown man am I going to hang outside the studio waiting? You know what I
Right,
mean?
right,
Like,
right.
I want it to happen because I've talked to people that talk to him and that know him, and so I hope it'll happen someday. Something, if my channel gets big enough that he'd want to maybe he doesn't need promotion, but he's a he's such a down to earth. He's not the scary sullen guy that people think he is. He's a regular dude.
Yeah.
So, but I'd have to say, I think George Michael just to hang out with him because eh, he was so nice to me when I was a kid, and he's the first voice I remember as a kid. Like he was nice to me
Yeah.
when I was a teenager, and growing up, there was two voices that played in my house: Elvis and George Michael.
Yeah.
So I was, those are the two voices I remember. So probably George, but then Eminem close second.
Yeah. So tell
Now
every,
I feel like if I make this choice, now I'm never going to meet Eminem.
right, right. That's great, man. So tell everybody about the how the George Michael thing come to be.
Which one?
How'd you meet when you met him? What was that all about? How'd that happen?
Well, he was here in '91 for his cover to cover tour, and I said to one of my best friends at the time, I said, because we had tickets, and I said, and we actually had tickets in two separate sections. I was sitting with my girlfriend in one section, he was sitting with somebody else somewhere else. But we brought our tickets downtown, and I said, we're going to meet George Michael. And he said, how? I said, Four Seasons, man. Everybody stays at the Four Seasons. And I had learned this over the years. I had met a few artists there, Peter Gabriel, U2, Madonna. I'd met a few. I think I put all the pictures up on my Instagram.
Yeah.
Not Madonna, but Peter Gabriel and Bono. But we were just walking. So Yorkdale, like there's like three or four streets downtown Toronto, which are very exclusive, where the nice hotels are and very ritzy stores. And we were walking and we were eating hot dogs. We were just, we were like 15, 16. We were like goofy kids. And I forget how old we were. Yeah, we were idiots because we were eating hot dogs and laughing. I remember just, and then I said, holy shit, there he is. And my friend's like, what? And my friend was completely convinced we would not meet him. And I was completely convinced we would.
Yeah.
And I go, there he is. And he's like, what? I go, that limo. I said, look at the guys coming out. And my friend spit out his hot dog. He was so nervous. I walked right up to George Michael like I knew him because I was like not letting this go. I had his CD, and two guys came out. And there was a big bodyguard at the limo door. George walked by me, and So he's with another guy, which I found out later was his boyfriend. I didn't know he was gay at the time. I had no clue. I mean, there were two guys that, they looked the type coming out of Giorgio on Yorkville Drive or Yorkville Road. But I didn't realize at the time that it was his boyfriend Anselmo, who tragically passed away from AIDS not too long after that. So George Michael walked by me and I kind of froze. And then George started going limo. I said, hey, George, do you think I could get your autograph? And he looked at me and goes, oh, sure. He goes, give me 1 second. He sat in limo. He goes, come over here. And so he sat in limo. He goes, have a seat. And I was like, what? So I sat. And he goes, so you going to the show tonight? And I was like, yeah. He goes, are you excited? I was like, yeah. He goes, what do you want me to play? And I said, you got to play Monkey. I said, you got to play Faith. And he's like, yeah, I don't know about Monkey, but I'll probably play Faith. He already had a set list planned. He's being so nice to me. He's being so nice. And I remember the other guy looking at me very British and very proper. And then just looking at me. So I signed that. And he said, anything else you want me to sign? And I said, no, but maybe a picture. And then my friend finally unfroze. So we took some pictures. And then those pictures. Then we talked a little bit more. Then I got out. He was so sweet. Said, okay, see you at the show and blah, blah, blah. And I was thinking, because he asked my name, I was thinking he was going to give me a shout out at the show. Like, he's going to say, this one's for Scott.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
But then they drove around the corner and they got out again. And I was like, let's go. Let's follow him again.
Yeah.
It's too much. There's a time you got to say, you just got the score of a lifetime. Stop. So my friend and I walked around. Then the bodyguard came and goes, did you have something more you needed from George? And I said, no, we just want to watch. We just want to go in and watch him shop. And he goes, man, maybe give us some private time. And I was like, okay. So we went across the street to more pictures, and unfortunately, those pictures are all lost now.
That's a bummer, man. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. You did a video.
But nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did the video about him. Yeah, and I've got the autograph still. Thank God. It shouldn't be here. It should be. It's back stored away.
What did he sign for you?
The cover of Listen Without Prejudice, his second solo.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very cool, man. Very cool.
Yeah. So that was, I mean, when George Michael died, that was for celebrity deaths, that was the hardest for me, for sure. Because I mean, I was and am such a fan, but I checked every day on Google for new album, new song, like, because he wasn't very prolific. Yeah. He was a perfectionist. So it was a long time between albums. So up until the day before he died, I would check every day. Anything new, go to his website. Any rumors, and then all of a sudden, he dies.
Yeah. Were you a Wham fan as well?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep.
Oh yeah. Yep. Oh yeah.
They're Netflix, right? Coming out soon.
Yeah, there's that, and there's the other George Michael one that came out just after he passed away that he was producing. Okay. That was the story of his life. And I actually haven't watched that yet because my friend, the same friend that I met Jordan with, he goes, you better not watch it. And I was like, why not? He goes, I cried through the whole thing. And I was like, you think I'm gonna cry? He's like, I know you will cry. He goes, you won't get through the first 10 minutes because he meant a lot to me. His music meant a lot to me, and then it was a soundtrack to my life. And so, as a teenager, for sure. And so the Wham thing. I mean, I like reading stuff about the history of Wham and George Michael. I pretty much know everything. I've done videos on it. I've done videos on it I haven't put out yet. But sometimes seeing it, I'm just like, I want to make sure his legacy is like, I'm like this Rock and Roll Hall of Fame thing in September, November coming up. It sucks that he's not going to be there for it. And I'm like cringing at who's going to sing his songs. Like, I don't mind people doing covers, but it's like, when it's somebody I love that much, I'm like, are they going to butcher it, or are they going to do it so well they're going to release it as a single, and do people not know it's a George Michael song anymore? Like, you know what I mean? Like, but hopefully he'll yeah, I don't know. Yeah, but I'll probably watch the Wham one on Netflix. I think I will.
Yeah, looks pretty interesting. I mean, if you're a George Michael or Wham fan, I mean, you pretty much have to, right? I mean, you got to watch it.
Yeah. I'm just wondering how much there is like if there's gonna be footage I haven't seen before. If they release music along with it, like a Wham live album, because there's bootlegs of them out there, and like there's only one George Michael live DVD released, which you can't get on audio unless you rip the audio, which I did, of course, but. There's got to be stuff in the vault coming, I hope.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Scott, let's get back to your channel. A few more questions about that. Tell me about, I don't know, man, some of the technical stuff about it. Tell me about your gear. Are you just simply shooting off of your phone, using a camera? What do you use for that?
I had okay. Well, I do shoot with an iPhone 13 Pro right now.
Okay.
Uh, I'll tell you, I had when I started, I used a Canon. Now I can't even remember which one it is because I sold it. It was a big one, and it sat on a like a stick. Right. This is 2017, and it was very cumbersome, and it was annoying to use, but it shot well. But at the exact moment I was in Venice Beach and I was walking along with it on the stick, thinking, "Oh, look at me! I'm a YouTuber. I've got a big stick and a big camera. You know, look at me." And I pointed it at some of the vendors. They were like, hey, don't film us. Don't film us. I was like, what the hell? And then I pointed around to other vendors as well. And like, don't film us. Yo, you can't film us. Like people, like they're, like women, like they're like, no, no, like to all their shops and stuff. I was like, what the hell? Like, what's going on? So I walked back to my car and I was like, well, that's a dud. And I was like, well, I'll go back with my phone.
Yeah.
So I put the camera away in the trunk. I walked with my phone. Not one vendor said a word.
Yep.
Just film me like that, film me like that. And then again, I tried to go to somewhere in LA and they said, what's it for? And I said, oh, it's just for me or something like that. And they said, that camera looks like a vlogging camera. And I hate that word, by the way, vlogging or vlogger. I'm not a vlogger. But and I was like, no, no. And they were like, no, we're not going to let you in. Something like that. This is a long time ago.
Yeah.
And I realized if you just go with a phone, you're going to get access to a lot more places. And if you're not allowed to film in certain places, you can still film with a phone. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can get away with it. So I've got mics, external mics, lavs, lights, the
Yeah.
whole, gimbals that I use,
Yeah.
that sort of thing. The best. I reinvest every year in whatever new phone. I didn't do the iPhone 14 this year because the 15 is supposed to have the super, super special camera. So I was like, I'll see if I can wait a year without buying a new iPhone.
Sure.
But it takes great video, great sound with my external mics that I hook up to them. And
Yeah.
yeah, so, I mean, I buy a lot of stuff to film with and I use very little.
Yeah.
I'm kind of like a gearhead that doesn't know anything about gear. Like I keep buying stuff and I'll keep ordering stuff and then it sits in boxes. Like this thing my laptop's resting on. I don't even know what it is. Something I bought.
Yeah.
But I got this new camera here and then all the lights and mics I bought. But really, I'm just like, aside from now, I'm trying to find the perfect lav mics
Okay.
because I've gone through a few of them that just I don't like the sound. I'm gonna continue with filming with a phone. Like it's when I film with certain people, like when I film maybe inside the Viper room or somewhere, I think that like maybe where there's people like that are in the industry and they see me with a phone, they think, oh man, what is this? But it's still just as professional with a phone.
Yeah.
You can still, that's it's so much easier too to dump the footage from your phone to your uh what do you call this? Mac.
Yeah. You just just airdrop it, right? Pretty
Yeah.
much. Yeah.
It's so much faster than transferring it. And then,
I know.
and then with the footage, as soon as I film it, it can't accidentally get deleted like you could on a vlogging camera or whatever. It goes into the cloud.
Yeah.
As soon as I filmed it, it's backed up right away.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I love that.
Yeah, the iPhones are pretty sweet for sure. Scott, it seems to me that a lot of your videos take place in LA. What's your take on LA?
I love it. I love LA so much. I always say like it's my favorite city other than Toronto. Toronto, Detroit, and LA are my favorite cities. Now there's a lot of cities like Athens, Georgia. I love, 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 love Athens. I love Jackson, Mississippi. There's towns, there's smaller towns and places. I love Branson, Missouri. Um, there's lots of other little towns. I love New York City again. I used to hate New York City for a while because I used to go there a lot, but now I love it again. But I love Gary, Indiana, which is strange to people, but I'm like, my friends live there, and some of my first videos were done there where Michael Jackson grew up. And I made great friends. But LA is very special to me because as a kid growing up, it seemed so far from Toronto. I mean, it's on the other side of the continent. It seems so far. My family vacations consisted of East Coast, go down to Florida, come back, Florida, back, never to the West Coast. And then as I got older, my parents said, okay, you want to go to Scotland, want to go to England. I was afraid to fly, and so I wouldn't go. And they went without me, and which is fine. But I wouldn't go. And so LA to me it was like, how am I ever going to get there? It's so far away. And some of my ex-girlfriends went with my parents, went to Scotland without me because I wouldn't fly. It's
Yeah.
insane. It was insane. Like I had such a fear. Then I got over it. So I started going to LA, and I just was like, this is I woke when we landed. The first thing we did was we went to Santa Monica, then we went to the Standard Hotel, walked up, and there's the Laugh Factory, on Sunset Strip. There's Chateau Marmont. We're staying right across the street. I was like, these are the places I've been reading about and dreaming about. Next morning, wake up, we're like, okay, where are we gonna do first? I'm like, we're gonna go to Melrose Place, the real Melrose Place located. We're gonna go to the Grease High School, then we're gonna go to the Grease Thunder Road.
Yeah.
And we had all this plan. And by the first day, I was like, I just saw some of the most iconic things in my life. So, I mean, I just got back 3 days ago, 4 days ago. I spent 4 days in Olympia, Washington, at Kurt Cobain's house there in Washington. I flew there to do that, but I was in LA for 5 weeks. By the end of it, I was done, especially because it's summertime and it's summer in Toronto. So I started missing Toronto because this is the time to be here. LA is amazing. The traffic is crazy, but if you can get past, once you get to know the city, you can mentally block out the traffic, and you can also figure out ways around it or different ways, or you just budget your time accordingly. If you're somebody who loves pop culture, LA is the place to go.
For sure. Yeah.
Sure. There's crazy parts. I've had some I've had some crazy experiences there. Like no doubt. Like I mean, doing some of the videos I've done on some of the people and some of the locations I've gone to is not the safest, sure, and it can. Once on Hollywood Boulevard, when you're at Hollywood Highland looking south, if you go west, it's all tourist and great. If you go east, the smell of urine will make you collapse.
For sure.
Like it is brutal.
Yeah.
And I just did a video from there and I couldn't take it.
Yeah.
And I was like, God, this city is like so there's some dirty parts, but it's like 20 million people or whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and it's huge. And people that say, mostly I find people that diss LA are people who haven't been.
Yeah.
Because there's something for everyone.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's the people there are just regular people.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll be back again. I go there 2 or 3 times a year.
Yeah.
I'm tired of it right now because it's just a grind every day because it's a job.
Yeah.
But but it's a fun job. It's the most fun I've ever had doing a job for sure. But yeah, I love LA.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. I'm like you, man. I love LA as well. Super cool city, man. I love it. The weather's fantastic. The topography's unbelievable. I mean, when you head down to Malibu and Topanga, it's just off the charts beautiful, man. It's so cool, dude. I mean, it's so cool. Yeah. Even if you take Sunset all the way down to the PCH, right? So, I mean, if you take Sunset all the way down to the PCH and it drops you off right there, I guess Malibu, Topanga area, it's just, it's so cool, dude. Yeah.
And Topanga, I just put up a video today about Taylor Hawkins from Foo Fighters.
Okay.
And he lived in Topanga. And I filmed a bunch of B-roll when I was up there after I did the video, showing how beautiful it is and thinking, well, I'm not going to include that in the video. But when I watched it yesterday, I was like, oh man, I got to put that in to show how, like, people think LA, maybe from my videos, palm trees and, stars on the Walk of Fame and big buildings.
Yeah. But
you got to see, like, I took my friend, his name is Pete from the Totally 80s Room. He's got a channel and stuff. And he's been to LA with me 2 or 3 times now. We went up past Santa Clarita to do a video about a month ago. It didn't dawn on him that those mountains were actually mountains and they're real. You see them from far away.
Yeah.
But once you go drive into them, he was like, this is the most incredible thing I've ever seen. I said, well, wait. I said, next time you come, wait till we go to the desert and then to Death Valley.
Yeah.
Because like you said, the topography, it's just, you've got the beach, you've got these huge mountains down by Long Beach and San Pedro, I should say, not Long Beach. And then you've got South Central LA and you've got downtown LA. Then you got Hollywood. Then all of a sudden you're in the mountains. You go over the mountains, all of a sudden you're in the hottest, weirdest desert in the world with the weirdest people in the world. And I've got some good friends that live up in the desert. And the weirdest shit.
Yeah, that's great, man.
You have to be to live in the desert. I want to live there.
Yeah, right. Scott, if you're in LA for 5 weeks, man, how many videos are you getting in that 5 week time span?
Well, I used to have a rule that I wanted to get 2 to 3 a day. Now that's changed because I've changed more of the concept of my channel in terms of I want to do as many locations for one video. I'll always find more. Like if it's about somebody, I'll go to like 2 of their homes and then whatever. Or if it's true crime, I'll go to a bunch of locations. So 2 to 3 a day. But this trip, I was getting a lot at the very beginning because I had a time crunch because I was only in Long Beach for 4 days before I had to meet people in Hollywood. And going from Hollywood to Long Beach sucked.
Yeah.
So I got those done. And then after 2 weeks, I got sick. I got a very bad cold. I was out for 3 days. The next week, I had a tooth emergency, so I had my wisdom tooth extracted, which took me out for. I told him, I said, I'll be back at work tomorrow. I was telling the dentist. I have a dentist in LA because of my teeth.
Yeah.
That I go and see regular. I see them more than I see my Toronto dentist, and so that put me out for about 2 to 3 days. I had to go back and see them, and then near the end of the trip, I got a cold again, which put me out for. And I'm like, it's just, bad luck because I don't get colds ever, really.
Yeah.
So I'm still suffering from this one. But so this time I got 43 videos roughly. Of those, 30 I'll probably make it. But I've got about 150 videos that are still to put up. That's still to put up. And then videos filmed, I've got probably close to 300.
Dude,
And about 150 of those will never go up.
yeah. Dude, it's fascinating. It's
Thank
wild.
you.
It really is. It's wild what you do, man. Now, is it just you, Scott, or do you have a production assistant that helps you? Is it anybody helping you, or is it just you?
Just me.
That's wild, man.
Just me, yeah. No, I mean, no. Don't get me wrong. People help me if they come along. If they come along for a video, I'm like other YouTubers or friends. I'll be like, oh, okay, well, if you're coming for this video, I want you to read about this, this, this.
Right.
I want to be able to cut to you and want you to be able to speak, and then also that saves me the hassle of reading maybe that part of the person's life or whatever. I'll be like, well, tell me about this, tell me about that. So or if somebody has an idea and then they're a friend, I'm like, well, let's come along and I'll talk to you and you can walk me through it.
Yeah.
Because I love that because, like I said, it's less research and time for me. I can just shoot the video. But no, I have administrators on my channel that go through the comments and the live chats. Guys like Rayan who suggest, oh, Scott, you should go do this, and I can introduce you to this person who knows this person, so I can help like that. But otherwise, no, it's all just me. I just do it all.
Crazy.
Like
man.
as soon as I finished editing today, did all the promotion for it online. And my next video is supposed to be Saturday, and I have the one in my mind planned that I want to put up, and I know it's a heavy edit.
Yeah.
By that I mean, where when I filmed it, I left a lot to do for voiceovers because I was in a pretty rough area of LA, so there's helicopters at times and lots of street noise. So
Yeah.
I was like, okay, this would be a voiceover, and it's a pretty famous story with lots of news clippings and very, very in depth about what this person did. Very bad person. So the edit will start tonight. I'll start working on tonight. Tomorrow I'll work on it off and on.
Yeah.
And then Fridays is usually my relaxing day anyway.
Yeah.
But by relaxing, I'm still going to work 6 hours a day.
Right.
Still going to work.
Sure.
But I just, I go see my friends at night downtown at this restaurant they work at. I'll go see Indiana Jones tomorrow night because I want to see. Hopefully, I'm seeing it tomorrow. And then Saturday, I'll wake up early and finish that video, have it up Saturday.
Yeah. I mean, so this is a straight up full-time gig, man. You are busy. I mean, this is pretty much nonstop. I mean, you're doing. I mean, you still got your Instagram that you got to tend to, right? You do a lot on that, and you respond back to a lot of people. So you're very active on that.
Oh yeah, I try to reply to as many people. I go through my Instagram DMs once a week usually, and then that's the requests. The other one that people I've already talked to, that was a mess. But the DM, like with the requests, like where you got to look and check. I try to go through that once a week and respond to as many people as I can. Send them a voice text, thanks for watching. But it takes a while. But it's literally first thing when I wake up in the morning, especially when I'm home in Toronto, I check to see where the hell my dog is. If he's tiny, so I got to figure out where are you.
Yeah.
He's gonna be under my pillow. You're gonna be. And the second thing I do is I look at my phone. I don't look at text. I look at my YouTube channel. Check the subscriber count, check the views from the previous video. Then it starts.
Yeah.
My days, wherever I am, like I went to a barbecue last night. I was there for 2 hours. I'd say an hour of it I was on my phone editing.
Yeah. No, I believe it, man. Yeah, ton of work,
Yeah,
man. Ton of work. Scott, I'm curious.
fun.
Whenever you go to a city, right? I mean, you got a pretty unique look to yourself, man. So I'm curious about this. If you go wherever you may go, how often do you get that's Scott on tape? How often do you get recognized?
I get recognized in LA a lot more than anywhere else, and a lot, especially on this last trip. If I go to like a conference, not conference, convention, like horror convention, those types of things, they get recognized, especially because there's Adam the Woo, you know him,
Yep.
uh, Sean Clark from Malfunction. Like, so people know us from our YouTube channels and my horror ones that I've done, recognized there. And if I'm in a cemetery in LA, no matter what, somebody will come up to me. And to me, it's definitely the hair, it's a very distinct and weird haircut. So like I know that from far away people notice that. And I'm now used to it.
Yep.
So I say LA 5 to 10 times a day. Toronto maybe once or twice if I'm actually out of the house and somewhere interesting.
Yep.
In LA, it's 5 to 10 times a day. So lots of pictures. It used to be about 2 or 3 years ago, it'd be like people walk by me on occasion and they go, "Hey, aren't you?" I'd be like, "Yeah, Scott." And they go, "Yo, yeah, you too." I'd be like, "Yeah." And I stand there and they'd be like, "Cool," and walk away. I'm like, "Oh, well, I guess that's that." No picture. Now it's at the point where they want to take a picture. I'm like, "Oh, okay, I've graduated to they want a picture." And to me, I always say it's the hair. If I had regular hair on the side, I wouldn't get recognized much. And
Yeah.
also, if I was 20, 21, teenager, I don't know, it'd probably go to my head. Oh yeah, people are recognizing me. To me,
Yeah.
when it comes to that now, it's all love. It's just like I'm like flattered, and I'm like,
Yeah.
you know,
And look at
I
that.
get it.
Yeah.
It took me a while for me to wrap my head around. I was like, why do they? But I'm like, well, they see me on their big screen at home
Right.
watching the videos. So and I'm talking. I'm not acting.
Yeah.
So they feel, so they recognize me, for that, and they want to talk. So I'm just like, that's amazing. So, and I
Yeah.
don't think I never would think of myself as a celebrity or something like that. I'm just a guy on YouTube, and I'm happy that people watch.
Yeah. And there you go, man. When you were younger, you wanted to be an actor, and now you're getting recognized. So
Right,
kind of came
right.
full circle, right?
And I
In
do
LA.
do,
Yeah.
I do fake videos. Like I do videos where I pretend to be a character. So
Yes.
those are about once or twice a year. I'm going to do more of those. I have one planned very soon that I'm filming. So I love doing those because that gives me a chance to
Yeah.
act and direct myself. So I
Yeah.
got one coming up very funny, I hope.
The Florida apartment
That's
or
it.
the Florida home or whatever. That was fantastic,
Yeah.
man. Yeah. That was very.
Yeah, I got part three. I got part three coming of that
Oh,
soon.
do
I
you
got to
really?
film.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But it's gonna make those ones look because those ones are absolutely ridiculous. But
Yeah.
what I'm doing with part three is just going to be, and then I'm going to put all three together and put it up as a video,
That's
just
great,
for
man.
fun,
That's
just for fun, just to edit them all. They'll all be edited already, put together. But part three, I just got this idea, and I talked to a couple people. I'm like, this will be if you can come and you can come,
yeah.
and we can do this. Like it'll be the most bizarre straight. Like some of it's just people still think I lived in Florida and that I actually moved there. Like I'm like, well, no, it was a joke.
That's so funny, man. That is so
Yeah.
funny. Scott, obviously what you're doing with your channel is endless, right, man? I mean, it is endless, the things that you can cover, the things that you can do. What is the ultimate goal and what are you trying to achieve with your channel?
I think just to keep getting I would say probably to keep growing. I never used to check my subscriber count. I never used to check, but I'm not someone who's obsessed with that. But now I'm like, okay, I got to pay more attention to that because it's getting wider. It's getting wider. So I my videos are now doing well right away. Right as soon as I upload them, they're doing pretty good for somebody with 200,000, I think, and for niche. Like it's not like Mr. Beast or playing video games that are really popular. You know what I mean? So they're all it's not the most popular genre of YouTube, I guess. But I think what my plans are, I get offers to do. I did that Discovery Channel last year. I did that special for them. They flew me out. I did the thing for them, and that was an okay experience. And I get offers to do things for a couple of different networks and companies, and I'm in the middle of talking about it with two of them. and I maybe would do it again, but I would have to have more control, or at least have more know more about what I'm getting myself into. Because the Discovery Channel thing, I did not. I just kind of was like, yeah, yeah. It was like they were like 2 days before they got a hold of me and they said, we've been trying to get a hold of you. Can you come and do this? I was like, yeah, and it wasn't what I expected. So I really want to have more control if I do outside projects, but I will never stop doing YouTube. I've had offers to change my YouTube channel into something else. And I said, no, why would I do that? Like, why would I give up control? Why would I want a boss if
Yeah,
I don't have a boss already? You know
sure.
what I mean? I'll let you show my YouTube videos, but why am I gonna, why would, like,
Yeah,
like, why would I do that? Especially if it's, not financially worth it. So I plan to just keep doing it, maybe get to the point where I can do um one video a week, but really a huge video. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
edit, and then maybe one small video a week along with it. Because right now I'm putting up pretty big subjects 2 to 3 times a week, 3 times a week. And I always hate the fact if maybe one of them slips under the radar, gets lost in the algorithm. And I
yeah,
was like, damn, that was a good one. Like it happened with my Buddy Holly video I did, because that's one of my favorite videos I ever did, but YouTube crashed on that day. So it got totally lost,
yeah,
and then I had to write to YouTube a million times. Then they boosted the views back up to a little bit. I was like, no, 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 no. It would have been higher. So I lost a lot. That was the worst day, because I was like, damn it, this is one of my best videos, and YouTube screwed up.
yeah,
But so I just would like to have time to work on more videos. But I know myself, I'll probably still put up 3 videos a week for a while, 2 or 3 years, and then 2 or 3 more years, see how it goes, and keep doing it. What else am I gonna do? I do want to make feature length documentaries and feature length movies,
yeah,
like direct them and act in them, and not, when I say documentary, real documentary, and then fake documentaries, mockumentaries, or fake movie or real movie.
yeah,
But that is something I want to do. I don't necessarily want to make it to sell it to Netflix. I don't want to sell it to NBC Universal. I want to put it on my YouTube channel.
sure, sure.
Get
Yeah,
a full cast, make the movie, be able to pay everybody,
yeah,
but it gets released on my YouTube channel. It doesn't get released anywhere else because, like I said, why would I give it to someone else?
right, right. Yeah, it's good stuff, man. And I could talk to you all day, man. A few more questions, then I'm gonna let you
Yeah, yeah.
go. Scott, have you thought about what about when I watch your videos, man? What's the average views that you get on your videos typically?
It depends really. It's looking. I guess the average view is 30 to 40,000 per video.
Okay, so that to me seems like a lot. I don't know if it is or not in the YouTube world, but if you're getting 30, 40,000 views a video, this is just kind of a hypothetical, man. Could you go to Bob's Socks and say, "Hey, Bob, I'll do a live read for you on my channel. I get about 30 or 40,000 views per video that I put up. Give me $300, $400, and I'll do a live read for you." Is there any sort of room for, any sort of sponsorship like that you could be doing?
Yep. Oh yeah, there is. I get asked. I'm not even kidding, Cliff. I get asked once a day at least. Would you do an advertisement for us? Would you do this? I'm like, I'll go to your store. I'll go to your place and
Yeah.
take a picture. If they don't want that though, but with YouTube, you have to. There's a whole separate thing. If you're going to promote a product or a service in your video, you got to fill out a whole separate thing. And for me, it's like people have asked me stuff like when they ask me, I'm like, by the time you ask me, I've already filmed 30 videos in wherever I am. I got to think of how am I going to work that into a video about the tragic death of Taylor Hawkins? How am I going to work in a plug for the chamois? Wow, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
how
Yeah.
how am I gonna like? Doesn't like this video is brought to you by? I don't have the like. I'm just always like, no, I don't. I can't remember to do that. Like I can't remember to say like and subscribe to my videos. I have to write it on the screen because I've
Yeah.
got so much information about the subject. And to be honest, I'm just like, I don't no, I get asked to do stuff. If I promote other YouTubers a lot, I'll put the link in the description, and if they're on the camera, and that to me, like I'm getting paid by YouTube. I don't know if I want to. I'm not too proud to sell anything. That's for damn sure.
Right.
I'll sell. It's not like I said. If somebody hired me for a commercial, like a regular commercial, I'll be right there. What do you want? Brightens your teeth. It doesn't work. All right,
Yeah.
I'll sell out. I have no problem.
Yeah.
But when it comes to putting it on my channel, I'm like, I won't remember, and
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't want to go through all that with YouTube, and then they'll be like, oh, well, you put up this video and talked about this sponsor, but meanwhile, our ads were for a competing company because they
Gotcha.
decide. I don't decide what companies YouTube puts up before my videos.
Yeah.
I decide how many ads, how long they are, but not the company.
Yeah.
So that's the whole thing with YouTube too. It can't clash with their ads. So I just
Gotcha.
get confused.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I had no clue about that. I had no idea
Yeah.
that that's the way it works. So,
Oh yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
interesting. Very interesting. What video of yours has the most views?
Eminem at Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, Michael Jackson's grave, Lisa Marie's grave. Those are my top three, I think.
And what are the numbers on those? Where are those at as far as
Uh,
views
one
go?
point 1.7 million, 1.6 million, and Lisa Marie's around 1.1 million. So they're million views. And then the rest are like 500,000, 700,000. I think I'm tending now to get about 2 to 3 videos a month that hit well over 2 to 300,000, which is huge. I mean, those are huge views,
Yeah.
and they're happening for the past year. They've been happening per month, like I said, 2 to 3 a month, which helps so much. So
Yeah.
when I get 20,000 views on a video or 30,000, I'm like, damn, that sucks. But really, that's pretty good for somebody with 200,000 subscribers.
Yeah.
If you get 10% of your thing. So if when a video hits big, like I've got 3 in a row right now: Roddy Piper, Taylor Hawkins, and Viper Room, and I think they're all going to do past 100,000 for sure. Maybe not Taylor, I hope so, but the rest are going to do. So that's pretty good.
What's
You
you?
know that.
Yeah. What's YouTube pay on a million views? What does that pay?
You know what? I don't know. I mean, I know that it drives my channel. It was driving my channel for a while. I know a guy that's got 42 million views on a 2-minute video, and he was getting $400 a month 10 years after he made it.
Wow. Yeah.
So he's at 42 million views, but I mean, that doesn't mean 42 million people are watching it now.
Yeah. Sure.
It's still making like 300 or 400 a month. But to be honest, each video, it depends on the subject. You can make for 20,000 view video, smaller channels than mine, you're not going to make anything really. You're not going to make much. But because I have a following and my channel, especially because my channel hits 30 to 55-year-olds, it hits that demographic that YouTube wants. Because YouTube is it's like growing up with NBC, CBS, ABC. They want that demographic of, not teenagers,
Yeah.
not people in the 20s. They want 30 to 40 who spend money, of course. So I off of a 20,000 view video, I can make a good amount of money to keep going and, combine that with the rest. Yeah. So
Sure. Yeah. Very cool, man. We talked about it at the beginning, Scott. Final thing here, and then I'm going to let you go. Charlotte, man, what have you done? I'm in Charlotte, North Carolina. Obviously, we talked about that earlier. What have you done in Charlotte as far as videos go?
I did do my first ever monster conference or monster convention.
Okay.
That was last year. That was crazy. I'd never seen anything like it in my life. That was one I did there. What else have I done in Charlotte?
What is that?
Okay.
What's a monster convention? What is that?
It's like a horror convention. Like
Okay,
for horror
gotcha.
movies. People come dressed up and celebrities are there.
Gotcha.
So I did in Charlotte. I did I did Michael Jordan's home, his school. And like I said, I just did a huge video from there that I can't put up, and I'm not going to say what it is because I'm missing one shot, and I know this video will be huge because of the subject matter. When I say I know they'll be huge, it's like I want to stress that it's in no way I'm like it's going to be huge because of me. No. I'm not the star of my channel. The star of my channel is where I go to or the person that I'm doing it. So when I say it's going to be huge, I'm thinking because of how liked the subject matter is. But Charlotte, I also did. I just did about Nirvana last year, but I didn't put it up. What else I've done? You'd have to ask Rayan what we did in Charlotte. Oh, I did Reed Flair.
Oh, did you?
Rick,
Wow.
yeah.
Yep. I
did
knew
a video
I knew
on-
Reed, man.
You did?
I did. I knew Reed. Yep, I sure did.
Oh wow. How was he? Was he a nice guy?
Sweet guy, man. Yeah, so sad, man. Was very sad
Very
when
sad.
yeah, it was crazy, man. And I didn't know him extremely well, but my wife's a personal trainer, and he was a personal trainer at the same facility that my wife worked at the time. And so yeah, I worked out with him several times and got to know him a little bit. I mean, we weren't buddies, but dude, you could tell, man, just from talking to him, just a sweet, genuine guy, man. Very, very sad.
That's what I said in the video because Rayan didn't know him, but Rayan talked about people knowing him and that who knew him, and they all said the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really sad. So I did read. That was Ray's suggestion. I did. Uh, gosh, there's I.
Well, you just
Oh,
recently
Dirty
you just recently did Harry Anderson, not in Charlotte, obviously, but Asheville. That was
no,
really cool
Asheville,
from
yeah,
Night
and I
Court.
did.
Yep.
Whatchamacallit? Oh my God. Dirty Dancing was filmed not too far from Charlotte, Lake Lure,
Like Lord.
which I
Yep.
guess 2 hours
Yeah.
away.
A
But
couple hours.
I was staying in Charlotte. I
Okay.
drove to Lake Lure and back, so consider that the Charlotte area. I've done, yeah. I have to go back and look around. Uh, February, February of 2022, and then March of 2023 is when I did videos from Charlotte. But yeah,
Yeah.
I just love it. And I drive over to Wilmington and all that.
Oh yeah. Very cool, man. Yeah. The coast is very nice. Yeah. Wilmington and Wrightsville Beach and all that. Yeah. Dude,
Yeah.
have you done One Tree Hill, Dawson's Creek stuff over in Wilmington?
I got to go onto the Dawson's Creek property way before I did YouTube, and I got to go around the back,
Okay.
and that was awesome. So I had pictures, but now apparently you can't even get close to the house, is what I've been told. Like you can get down to the street and stop. You can see the house in the background, but they don't let you anywhere near it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's like, nah, like I watched Dawson's Creek a little bit. I didn't watch One Tree Hill, but
Yeah.
I'm an 90210 fan, big time
Um.
Beverly Hills 90210 fan. So I've done a lot of those locations, but
Yeah.
I would like to do. I'd like to do the Dawson's Creek locations, like the main ones, if I could get access to Dawson's house.
Yeah. Sure.
You got to show the back of the house where she climbed in the window.
Yep. I've been.
Otherwise, what's the
Yeah. I've been to the
yeah?
front. I've been to the front, and you can't get. You're exactly right. Yeah. You can't
Oh,
get any further than basically right at the entrance of the driveway. So
yeah. No,
yeah.
it's about 8 years ago, I guess. Maybe it was 2004. No, 2000. It was 2014, 2015, and I was driving down and they just somebody out mowing the lawn, and they said, "Yeah, go take a look." I guess because I was just,
Of
I didn't
course.
have a camera out. I wasn't saying I wanted to film for anything. I was like, just saying I'm a fan. And there's somebody mowing the lawn. They let me, and just now all I've heard is you can't get back there. So I'm like, nah, no
Yeah.
point.
Yeah. Yeah. A little collab, Scott, maybe with Rayan and do a little Talladega Nights. What do you think about that?
That'd be cool, but there's not too. I mean, the houses would be cool. We were gonna do Masterminds together. You know that movie? Zach Galifianakis, Owen Wilson.
Okay.
Very little known movie that I love and sort of great comedy. Talladega Nights would be good. I did Anchorman in LA. That was a while ago though, and nobody really watched it. I was like, nobody wants to see Anchorman.
Yeah.
And so Talladega Nights would be kind of cool though,
Yeah.
because I do love that. I do love that movie.
Yeah.
And the campaign with Will Ferrell and Zach Galifianakis, I think that was filmed down there too, or
Was it?
maybe Georgia, maybe Georgia. That may be Georgia.
It was. No, it was filmed here. Yep.
I've got a ton of movie location videos for movies, and I know I'll never put them up because I'm just like so excited when I go film it. I film them, and then afterwards I'm like, yeah, nobody's gonna care.
Really?
Nobody's gonna care. Yeah, I just think like nobody.
That's
No one
crazy,
wants.
man. That's crazy. You go do all that work and then not going to
Well,
put
the
it up.
good thing is
Yeah.
when you do all that work, I mean, you drive around, you see them. I always think, I hope to be able to put it up, and I plan on putting it up. But then when I get back to Toronto or when I get starting editing on the road, I've already filmed
Yeah.
20 other videos. So if something gets lost in the shuffle, or if I'm like, nah, I don't think I'm going to put that up. I don't. It's been a year now or 2 years.
Yeah.
At least it's not like I didn't put anything else up that week.
Right.
So I've
Sure.
already got stuff.
Sure.
So somebody mentioned me the other day, said you should come to a certain city and film, do video locations for this movie, this movie. I said, oh, I did those.
Yeah.
They're like, really? I didn't see them on your channel. I'm like, no, I know. I didn't put them up. I said, I just
Right.
didn't. Movie locations are hard to get views on. They're just hard.
Yeah.
Like 8 Mile, by Friday, Menace Society, Boys in the Hood, those did really well.
Yeah.
And those are hard to do. So
Sure.
I loved it.
Yeah. Very cool, man. Scott, you should do this. Scott, you should do this. Scott, cover this. Scott, cover this. Do you enjoy that, or does that annoy the hell out of you?
It only annoys me, and I know it annoys a lot of YouTubers in my field when it's like you put up a video and the first comment somebody makes is, you should do, and it's like, you should watch what I just put up instead of suggesting something right away.
Right.
But
Right.
I get it. People like you should
Yeah.
do, but they don't understand how it works. Like it's not like you should do. whatever, and be like, yeah, okay, I'll fly to Denver tomorrow and get right on that. Like, it's
Yeah.
not, I gotta have 20 things to do in Denver for it to be financially feasible. Or I get, because of my true crime stuff, I get people all the time like, you got to come to, and they'll be like, Bangor, Maine, there was a murder here last night in a row house, and you got to come. I'm like, what do you? I'm not a YouTube cop. Like, I'm not a detective.
Right.
Like, I get that a lot. Like, there was something happening in somebody's hometown. Like, you got to get here and help. And I'm like, I can't like walk under the yellow police line and be like, it's okay, Scott on tape, YouTube cop, and like start investigating.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
So funny, man.
so funny. People starting to really think
Yeah.
that they think that I can get away with that. I'm like,
Right.
not really. And also, I'm like, why would I go and investigate like a meth house in like near outside of Branson, Missouri? Like they busted a meth house. I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
like what am I supposed to do?
Right.
Like it's cute, it's sweet that people suggest things, but they also, I'm just like, yeah, I can't go to all these places, and I especially can't get involved with local law enforcement and help
Exactly.
solve crimes.
So funny,
That'd be
man.
kind of cool.
Yeah,
Huh.
that's so funny, man. Scott, give everybody your socials, your YouTube channel, anything you want to plug. Here's your chance, man. Go for it.
Yeah, it's Scott on Tape on YouTube, one word or three. Scott on Tape. Facebook group Scott on Tape, and Instagram Scott on Tape. Last name, my name's Scott. Last name Carman, Carman. But my handle on everything is Scott on Tape. So you'll find me. And Twitter Scott on Tape too, I think. Yeah,
Okay.
but Twitter I don't really use. Twitter is all hockey. So I just follow. I just have a Twitter thing. But somebody retweets one of my videos, I'll retweet it. But definitely Instagram. If people repost something of mine or post me a story, I will repost it. And always, like I said before, YouTubers on coming up, whatever age you are, like young YouTuber, old YouTuber. I love helping out
Yeah.
people, giving back, because I know what it's like to have 200 subscribers. I know what it's like to be at like 930 and like, am I going to hit 1,000? Like I know, like it wasn't that long ago I was there. So,
Yeah.
I always want to help people,
Yeah.
encourage them.
Sure. Is it 208,000 subscribers, Scott? Does that blow you away? Are you
Yeah.
surprised by that, or is that kind of expected, or at least what you thought you were going to get at some point?
Well, I'm a glass half full kind of guy, Cliff. I
Yeah.
really am. But when it comes for life, I really am. I always look on the bright side or try to be like, positive. But for me, I'm always like, 208, because sometimes it'll go like really fast, like 4,000 in 2 days.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm like, all right, here we go, here we go. And then it stops and slows down. And I'm like, come on. Like, let's go. Like, I was at 195,000 like 3 weeks ago. So I'm at
Yeah.
208. That's 13,000. And so I'm like, well, come on, YouTube, let's go faster now. Let's make it
I know,
300,000.
man.
What's going on? But it's hard to get people to press that subscribe button.
I know it is, man. And dude, isn't it such a wild world that we live in, that we're talking about, right? I mean, think about it, Scott. I mean, we're 80s kids, man. We're talking about likes and how many people follow you and how many, it's a bit silly, isn't it? I mean, it's part of
It's
the gig, but I mean, isn't it just kind of like, what are we doing here?
Yeah, no, that's why I don't, I know that having people like your video helps YouTube, but I'm just like, just watch it. I don't care if you press like,
Yeah.
just, and I don't care if you like me, just watch the goddamn video.
Yeah,
Just
right.
watch it. But,
Yeah.
what blows me away is, as like you said, being 80s kids, what blows me away is, man, I was making, and I have tons of videos of me and my friends that we were making fake videos and like, joking around, like full movies and running around with video cameras. And if this existed when I was a teenager, I would have been all over it.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it only took 25 years later for me to finally catch on. Oh,
That's great.
I know there's an outlet for this.
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
Technology had to catch up to. That's what my best friend said. We were on my way back from my friend's funeral, my friend's father's funeral.
Okay.
My
Yeah.
friend's father's funeral. This is back in January, and people at the funeral recognized me,
Oh, wow.
and they came up to us and they were like, oh, we're such a big fan. We know your friend, my friend John. We know him. We knew you were going to be here. We're such big fan. We watch your channel all the time. They're whispering because we're in the round of funeral. And I was like, oh, that's so sweet. Then we went and talked afterwards, like in the reception part. And they wanted selfies with me at a funeral, but it was like, the father was older, so it wasn't like it was sad, of course. But
Yeah.
I was like, sure. And then my friend was on the way home. He just started laughing while we were driving home. I was like, "What are you laughing?" He goes, "It only took you 30 years for technology to catch up for you to become famous, you idiot," or something like that.
That's
Like,
hilarious.
I'm
Yeah.
not famous, but you've worked your whole life
Yeah.
trying to do this, and all of a sudden it just hits you. He goes, "You're Kramer. You know that? You're Kramer." And I'm like, "I'm not Kramer, falling ass backwards into a job." Or
That's great. That's great, man.
I created the job. I didn't have this job 6 years ago.
Yeah.
I created,
Yeah. Yeah.
which is weird. That's a weird thing. But
That,
you're right. As an 80s kid, if you had told me in the 80s, oh, by the way, um, you're gonna one day do a video with Ricky Rocket from Poison. You're gonna be hanging out with Ricky Rocket from Poison.
right.
I'd be like, from my favorite band,
Yeah.
Poison. I love Poison.
Yeah.
I'd be like, no, no, what? No. And I can't say who, but I got a video that I'm working on. And so I was texting with a rock star last night.
Okay.
And we were texting back and forth. He's asking me all these questions. And so again, if you had told me the 90s, if you had told me in the night, I'd be texting with a rock star.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a star. I love celebrities and rock music. I would be like, no,
Yeah.
that's impossible. Even though I wanted to be involved in the industry, it just seems so far away.
Yeah.
So now, it's just weird.
Yeah. It's very weird, man, but very cool at the same time. So
Yeah, it is cool.
yeah, thanks for taking time out of your day to come on, man, and talk to me. And like I said, when you're in
course.
Charlotte, man, let me know and we'll hang out.
Yeah, just let me know when it's up, when it's ready to go.
Cool. We'll do.
I'll see you in Charlotte.
Thanks, Scott. Appreciate it, man.